Yep, so I went and I saw Blue Beetle. Yeah, if you were thinking that this was going to be some breakout hit that DC was going to put out for the summer, you are going to be very disappointed because I'm telling you, myself included, there were like about maybe 10 people in the cinema, and that was it. And after watching this movie, I just don't think they're going to make it. I really don't think they're going to make it. Anyway, let me go through my top 10 takeaways from Blue Beetle. Yes, there will be spoilers going forward, but they're really gonna be much of a bother to you, honestly. So let's get into this straight off the bat with number one. It is a rip-off movie. I called this when the first trailer dropped, and I did a trailer review for it. I said this was DC's biggest rip-off movie yet, and I was right. This movie pretty much rips off Iron Man and the first Ant-Man movie. That's borderline what it does. It basically breaks down like this. Person has something that greedy executive wants in order to use to create an army of technologically advanced killing machines, slash people. Person has this advanced tech, doesn't want to give it over to this other individual, so they go after them, or they send somebody after them. Big fight, big battle, wham bam, thank you ma'am. That's pretty much it. Now, in regards to it being a rip-off movie for Iron Man, just replace Jaime Reyes with Tony Stark, and instead of him finding the Beetle armor, making the Beetle armor, and instead of having Victoria Cord and basically Victoria Cord and Carapax were basically the bad guy in the first Iron Man movie. I forget his name. Just so but I forget his name. Yeah. Then basically just took him and just made two different characters and called it that. And as for Ant-Man, it's pretty much the same thing, but this time around, instead of creating the armor, was giving it to him. Somebody wants it, so they go after him. The big fight. I say about it, it's more of a rip-off movie than anything. Yes, there are a couple ripped-off scenes or like Power Rangers and things thrown in there, but that's basically it. It's a rip-off movie. It's not actually going to be like, you look at it and say, well, this is somehow going to be something. No, it's a rip-off movie. That's pretty much it. Number two, DEI overload. Now, when you really want to push diversity, equity, and inclusion, but you really have no common sense in what you do it, this is what happens. Now, everybody should know, right? If whether you saw it on my channel, whether you heard it out there, whatever, or this is the first time you're hearing it, okay. The director for Blue Beetle, Angel Manuel Soto, has been shooting his mouth off at every opportunity he gets. He just keeps shooting his mouth off non-stop. You understand me? Just non-stop he shoots his mouth off about anything and everything. In regards to this movie, he shut his mouth off quite a few times. But when you look at this movie, you could literally tell it's basically him using this movie as a mouthpiece for all his socio-political views and all of that. Really, that's what it is. It's like literally in every scene. I mean literally in every scene. He uses it in some way to try and bash how something is. Like, for instance, Cord Industries is basically corporate America trying to take over things from the small people and pushing them out. It constantly talks about how, okay, the Reyes family and everybody in it, they're Latin, they're a Latin ethnicity people, and they have struggles and all kind of stuff, and you constantly hear it. Even Jaime's sister talking about how people like us don't get things like that, and we have to struggle for this, and every opportunity in this movie is something to bash how somebody not respecting the culture, how somebody keeping down the Latin people, how somebody don't want to this, literally everything. It got to the point where it was just bloody well annoying. I'm not saying you can't slip in little things like that, just to keep the movie fresh or something like that. But when you just bombard people with it non-stop, what the hell do you expect? I mean, there's this one scene where what's your name? Jenny Cord is there with Jaime, and they're breaking into the building there to get something, and she's telling Jaime that her grandfather and her aunt Victoria built Cord Industries and stuff and all of this thing, and then when the grandfather had when the time came for the grandfather to give over control of the company, he gave it to her father instead of Victoria. And then Jaime's like, well, that's a little, and she automatically chimes it, sexist, right? Yeah. And I'm like, really? You don't think you could have said something like, maybe the grandfather gave it to Ted Cord because Victoria was a deranged, crazy, mad woman who wanted to build weapons and pretty much conquer the world? But no, you had to slip in this sexist remark. Why? Why would he do that? But no, this is what I'm talking about. And there are other instances like that throughout the whole movie where they just keep injecting it in there. The movie is basically just a sounding board for Angel Manuel Soto to just come out and tell everybody what he thinks about everything, and that's how wrong everything is by his messed up views. That's it. Yeah, but number 3, the terrible acting. I don't know, boy. Watch it now. There's no other way to put it, The acting in this movie just wasn't good at all. Honestly, it just was not good at all. I mean, you need only look at like Susan Sarandon, for instance. It's like every scene she had on screen, she was like literally just phoning it in. It's like somebody was standing there behind the cameras with that giant placard with the lines written on it, and she was just reading from that. Honestly, to God, it's like, I mean, like pretty much like as soon as this woman got the check for this movie, she just cashed it and this just didn't give a shit after that. Honestly. And then you have the rest of them. Okay, well, the guy who's playing Jaime, I think is Zorro Madweda. So I don't want to butcher his name or something like that. Okay. I mean, there's not really any star power there because he's the guy from Cobra Kai, so not really thing. But the rest of them, the family and all kind of thing, the acting is just so bad. Honestly. It literally, I mean, when they try to force emotion, you're like, oh my God, really? Come on now. I mean, when the father did die, okay, spoiler there, but who cares at this point? They were all distraught, and I was like, okay, but, I mean, you could put a little more emotion into that. It's just, yeah, it was just so terrible. Even the woman who was playing Jenny Cord, her acting was just flat. Honestly, that's absolutely flat. They was like, like they weren't even trying. You're just sitting there with the movie and it's like, oh God, boy, well, you could pretend to give a shit. Jesus. It wasn't good at all. Number 4, the armor does not look good. No. Okay, when I saw the trailer for it, I thought, the armor looked okay, but I wasn't feeling it. I thought maybe by the time, the movie came around and you saw it on the big screen, would be like, okay, yeah, good. No. It does not look good at all. The armor looks... It doesn't translate well. It looks cheap. There's no other way to put it, just cheap. Really cheap. And the fact that, every time it comes, well, it has to still like, burn itself onto him kind of thing. So he's always naked whenever he clothes go on. It's just really ridiculous. I mean, like, tell me something. How could a movie like Iron Man, which is this movie also tried to rip off, how could a movie like Iron Man that came out so many years ago, right? I think Iron Man came out like 2008 or something. Yeah, it came out in 2008. Iron Man came out in 2008. And still, the graphics on that, the CGI, everything looks absolutely spectacular. This thing looks awful. Literally awful. And every time he's seeing things through his armor, it looks like a literal Dreamcast game of console or something, or maybe a old Nintendo 64. I mean, no, actually, honestly, even the Nintendo 64 graphics look better than that. And every time he was looking through this armor, it did not look good at all. And the fact that the armor literally sounded like Siri just wasn't working. It was that it did not translate well to the big screen at all. The armor did not look good. It looked cheap as hell when he was flying around. And then they had that whole scene where he cut the bus in half. And it's clearly one of those new age buses that have a big space in the middle of it. Because last time I checked, that's not how buses are actually made up. But that's what they were doing. It just did not go over well in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. It was just really badly done. Really, really badly done. Honestly, just really badly done. The armor did not look good. It looked cheap as hell. Number 5, Uncle Rudy. Okay, so we had the line in the movie.
It's like Batman stuff.
Batman's a fascist.
Batman is a fascist. It kind of happened, and when it did happen, it was a brief moment, and it was like, okay, at that point I really didn't care anymore. But in my opinion, what they could have done was just had Uncle Rudy say, Batman is a fascist, and then Jaime could have said something like, he's not a fascist, he's just brooding, and that might have made it go over a little better. But it happened, and I didn't really care. But I will say that George Lopez's character of Uncle Rudy came off slightly annoying at times, but more than that, he was probably the funniest character in this movie. Honestly, he was probably the funniest character in this movie. He would have these moments where this would be, like when his truck got shut up and he was outside freaking out while they were in there trying to do what they had to do and stuff. It was funny. Like I said, the funniest part of this movie was basically him. They tried to add a bit of humor as well. We found out, the grandmother used to be a freedom fighter, but of course, they had to mess that up too. So it didn't really translate well, but honestly, I must say, George Lopez's character, even though he was slightly annoying at times, he was probably the funniest character in this movie. Honestly, the rest of them wasn't worth crap, but that's just it. Number 6, the CGI is lacking. I talked about it with the armor. It does not look good. When he's fighting the OMAC armor at the end, it kind of basically looks like how you would have seen a fight from a Power Rangers movie. And I think a Power Rangers movie, I would say, the Power Rangers movie, the original Power Rangers movie that they did with the White Ranger, Black Ranger, all of them things. And may I say again, Jason David Frank, may you rest in peace. Yeah. The fighting and action, that was actually better than this. There were certain times you were like, okay, he got a sword, he's jumping in the air, all right. And then literally 5 seconds later, you were like, oh God, yeah, this is just not going well at all. It just didn't work. No matter how much you tried for them to try and make it, it wasn't going. The CGI just did not look promising and engaging at all. When the armor's going on, it looked more disgusting than actually kind of cool. When he's flying around, it just wasn't looking great at all. Like I said, the CGI was just poorly done. Very, very poorly done. Had they actually put some... Like I say, you don't need a whole bunch of money to be anything. If you just put the time and energy to and do it right, you could get it done. But no, this was literally kind of like Ant-Man 3 level CGI. That's the way it was looking. That wasn't fit for the big screen, in my opinion, at all. Number 7, Ted Kord Blue Beetle. Now, they made reference in this movie to Ted Kord Blue Beetle. Had the Beetle ship, and he had the stuff thing, and apparently he found his scarab, couldn't get it to work, so he built tech around it. Now that immediately pretty much discredited what happened at the beginning of the movie, because at the beginning of the movie, right, Victoria Kord and Carapax and them showed up in Antarctica, and they found this giant ancient alien artifact that had this scarab inside it, and they had to cut into it to get it out. Now, if that happened at the beginning of the movie, how did Ted Kord have this scarab before? Because apparently Ted Kord had this professor who had this scarab, and the scarab actually attached itself to him, and then, the person died, and the only way to get this scarab off is if you die. But he couldn't get this scarab to work, but he still built technology and things using the scarab and all of that. So how the hell did it end up in the Antarctic? Made no freaking sense or whatever. But I will say, had they made a Ted Kord Blue Beetle movie and had they done it really well, it might have been better, because people may have more been interested in seeing that character if they had done it really well. Because Ted Blue Beetle is kind of like Batman, just not as cool, but he still is an interesting character, and he still is something if you want to do it. But most people don't even know who Blue Beetle is. Unless you are a die-hard DC fan, you really have no idea who the hell Blue Beetle is. But Ted Kord may have been their answer to that. They could have done the movie around him, and that probably would have done better. Then at the end, they had this little thing where he sent some message saying that, he's still alive, because apparently he went missing. And you're like, you don't care at that point, but that's what they were doing. Next up, the Big Belly Burger Box. Now, let me set out this scene for you so you understand it. Victoria Kord wants this scarab because she wants to use the data in the scarab to create this one-man army corps, aka OMAC. So when she finally gets the scarab, right, she has an island off the coast of Cuba that Kord Industries bought, and she has technology there to download the scarab information and then upload it directly to her army of OMAC that she has there, so she could easily do that immediately. No. Instead, she decides to take it back to Kord Industries and have this guy. So you have this armor, you have this Beetle scarab. Take it and do whatever it is you need to get done with it and be done with it. No. Instead, the best thing to do is to take it back to Kord Industries Tower, right? Put it in a room that they could download it. No secure high-tech room where they'll let you know. All you just need is just a scan card to get in. Once you get in there, the scarab is right there resting on the thing. You just pick it up, put it in this burger box, and walk right out. That's how much you care about this dangerous, powerful artifact that you need to create your evil army. Right? It was stupid in the trailer. It was even more stupid in the movie. Next up, villains cannot be bad guys anymore. Right? Villains just can't be bad guys anymore. This is another example of Angel Manuel Soto and his crap getting in there. When you're a bad guy, you're a bad guy. Yes, you may have a tragic past that led you to that, but at some point you make the decision to be bad. You understand me? Now, there's nothing saying that, a bad guy can't have some kind of redeeming part or something, or maybe they're being forced to be bad and they don't really want to be bad, but this is what's happening to them, and when they finally do get that chance to break free of it, okay. No, that's not the case. In this movie, Carapax is a bad guy, right? He's had technological enhancements done to him and all kind of stuff, but he's a bad guy. he tries to literally kill Jaime like 3 times. He also pretty much tries to kill his family. You understand me? While he was dragging him away, his father was having a heart attack and dying and all of that. Okay, fine. That's what was happening. But when Jaime does have his big showdown with him at the end, and he gets so damn pissed off and decides to, because once again, he believed that Carapax had actually killed Uncle Rudy, and he's looking to finally kill him. The Scarab has to stop him and like, Jaime, we're not killers. Even though that makes no sense, because the Scarab is usually the one who wants to kill, and Jaime is usually the voice of reason. But when it does now, the Scarab then tells him that, it saw his memories, and we get this flashback saying that, Carapax's mother got killed by Victoria in this explosion, and then he was drafted as a child soldier, and then when he got damaged on the field, she used him in experiment. All little things like, what does all this have to do with anything? If you're a bad guy, you're a bad guy. That's just it. Yes, like I say, yes, you can have a tragic backstory, but not everything needs to be like, okay, you're a horrible person that has done horrible things, but no, all you really need is a good long hug and a cry, and that'll make everything okay. These are why these movies keep failing, because nobody could just be bad anymore. Nobody could just be good anymore. Those are some kind of moral gray line that everybody needs to skip across and all of that. Oh bloody hell, man! If you're evil, you're evil. That's all. And speaking of evil, you had basically Victoria Cora. She was basically just the definition of, because she's rich and white, she must be evil. That's it. That's really it, Because she's rich and white, she must be evil. Just never mind. And that's just the way it is. Wasn't going to translate well at all. Now, next up, you had a literal culture shock in this movie. Everything they were doing was just trying to push this down the road, and this kind of cultural appropriation just wasn't working, because literally, like, as Jaime Reyes shows up, because apparently he went to law school in Gotham, and when he gets back home, like, literally 1 minute after he comes back and meets his family, they're eating tacos. And then like 10 seconds later, his sister then tells him that they're losing the house. They lost their shop. They're broke. God is taking over everything. And we just continue to movie with every time, every opportunity, just hearing Latin music playing, they're watching TV, they're doing this, and when are we talking constantly in Spanish? I mean, I don't have a problem with it. We're talking in Spanish, okay, fine. But you could see after a period of time, they were just shoving it in there. Like, they just wanted to literally overload you with this thing about how, Latin culture. Well, Lord, let it breathe a little bit. That's not the very thing we have. After this, it'll revolve around. There are other things going on, but no. You kept doing that because you just had this absolute desire to keep pushing. Now, I will say this. Let me tell you something. There is one character in TV that I would say who was so good, so well done about their culture, where it wasn't overloaded in any way. And that character was Elisa Maza from Gargoyles. Honestly, no, seriously, hold on for a second. Her mother was African, her father was Native American. Yet it was never shoved down your throat, ever. She was from New York, that's what she did, she was a cop, okay. When she and Goliath and the others were, Goliath and the dog thing was traveling around from Avalon. They had one episode where she went and met up with her father, and they had something involving Native American culture. That was one episode. Then it had another episode with her mother, and she had to help them stop a Nancy in Africa. That was it. Only 2 episodes to show her culture, and that was more than enough. You literally defined everything right there. The rest of the time, she was Elisa Master. That is who she is. She was a cop. Okay. You never needed to shove it down anybody's throat as to, she has, she has to be doing this. Okay? No. Because she was such a well-done character that you only needed those 2 episodes just to show that. And the episodes weren't done in order to like show her anything like that. It was just that, they were going around, these things happen, it happened, that is all. But no, you had to just keep shoving it down people's throat in this movie throughout everything. It doesn't work. It just got really, really ridiculous after a while. And finally, the main problem with this movie, people, even though I've pretty much already laid out a whole bunch of them, but the main problem with this movie, it was just boring. Honestly, boring. I had to literally stop myself from falling asleep twice during this movie. It was really boring. Yes, they had some so-called action without any, but even that was just done in such a way that it didn't translate into anything actually being interesting and good. You were sitting there with like this. Okay, yeah, all right, this is happening. Yeah, okay, that's going on. Oh, look, Uncle Rudy. That's pretty much the entire way the movie went. It was very, very boring. Honestly, the movie was just absolutely boring as hell, and you just could not manage with it. Telling you people, this movie is not going to make it. It already had a very poor opening weekend, and I think when word of mouth spread, it's not going to be all that good. But that's my top 10 takeaways for this movie. What I will... So, my final rating for this movie, I will give it a 1.5 out of 5. This is what I recommend for me. This movie does not in any way do anything for you. If it comes out on streaming and you want to give it a watch, that's for watching sake, okay. But I don't really see the point in going and spending your money to go and watch this movie. Does not make anything important in any way. And the fact that the director was already shooting off his mouth about sequels and all kind of thing, buddy, that ain't gonna happen at all. That's it for me. Let me know your thoughts on this Let me know your thoughts on this video in my comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, try to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. You'll be every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.